On this edition of Seahawks Today, we will break down the latest free agent targets for your Seattle Seahawks of who they could potentially bring in with the trade deadline behind us. They already brought in Frank Clark a couple days ago. The trade we saw for Leonard Williams went down, and that certainly moved some mountains. Now, could they make another move? We got some players to watch in just one moment. Before we do, though, here on Seahawks Today, each and every Sunday, we're spamming S in the chat as our rallying cry for the 12s for your Seattle Seahawks. And with it being Ravens week, I want to get ready for Sunday. I want you to spam S in the chat right now. Get up, get loud, get ready to go. It's Seahawks football. Doesn't get any better than that. Spam S if you're ready for Sunday. Now, before I show you this list of free agent targets, I want to make this clear. The Seahawks don't necessarily have to add anyone. I'm more confident than I've ever been in this Seahawks team, in the roster, in the pieces that are already there. The vibes are immaculate. They are very good for where this Seahawks team stands right now. With that said, though, if you're John Schneider and Pete Carroll, you do have to look around and do your due diligence to see where you could potentially improve that roster. With that said, let's get started with these free agent targets. We begin with Lael Collins. Lael Collins at the offensive tackle spot. This is a guy that has had a very good career, and the reason why I bring him up before anyone else is we've been told that Abraham Lucas should be returning, that he should be back very soon. But we've been told that for how long now? And we're still waiting, right? Today, Junior, I'm not sure how long it's going to take before Abraham Lucas makes his return or not. And a guy like Collins has got such a great track record, and he's been so good over the years. He's somebody that should not stay unemployed too long. If the Seahawks don't sign him, someone else will. Played for the Bengals and the Cowboys. You go back to 2022, PFF said he was the 13th best offensive tackle in football. A lot of experience, 89 career games played, 86 starts. Lael Collins is a very good football player, and if Lucas isn't quite there, Lael Collins is not a bad option. Last year wasn't his best season by any means. His offensive grade was a 57.9. Run block grade was solid, 73.5, but pass blocking here really struggled. But you go back to 2021, and he was good all around with a 82 overall grade, a near 90 run block grade, and a 76 pass block grade. Lael Collins is the real deal. So I would love to see Lael Collins in Seattle if Abraham Lucas is going to take a minute for his return. What do you think? Our pinned comment today, should the Seahawks sign Lael Collins or not? Why for yes, in for no? Should they both start the old line with Collins? Chime in, tell me what you think. Next up, we find Ndamukong Suh, a name that is very familiar to fans across the Pacific Northwest, as he is a native of the PNW. Suh is a future first ballot Hall of Famer. He has been fantastic throughout his career, and he kind of has made this transition to the television side, doing some analyst work in the UK for Sky Sports. But he recently said in an interview with Sky Sports that he is looking to make his return to the football field, and specifically looking to play for a contending team. And you go back to last year with the Eagles, he didn't make a ton of money, so he's not going to cost you a whole lot either. Suh said this: where's the right fit? Where's the right opportunity? Where can I go and add value? I don't just want to sit there and watch other guys be successful. Have options, that's the key, and make decisions from there. Suh's resume includes 5 Pro Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl championship, and he's made every team he's played on better, from Philadelphia to Tampa, the Rams, Dolphins, Lions, and more. Suh has been really good over the years. I think he'd be a nice addition for this Seahawks team if they decide to go that direction with Ndamukong Suh there. Our next player, we will stay on defense, and we will turn our attention to a name that Seahawks fans are familiar with. That is Carlos Dunlap at the edge rusher position. And kind of like what I said about Lael Collins, him being unemployed and not having somewhere to call home right now is a bit of a head scratcher of some sorts. That is one I don't really understand at all. When you look at his track record and what he's done in his NFL career, he has been consistent everywhere he's been in different schemes, in different uniforms. He's been, I think, a very good football player. Previously with not just the Seahawks, but the Bengals and the Chiefs. Won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs, also a two-time Pro Bowler. And you talk about consistency, check this out. Every season of his career, he's had at least 4 sacks. So Carlos Dunlap has been very, very solid in that time throughout his career. And this, to me, I think we've seen the Seahawks do a good job of bringing back former players. Why not Carlos Dunlap at this point as a possibility? Here's the numbers I'm talking about with Dunlap. Last year, he had 4 sacks in Kansas City. The year prior, his last year in Seattle, he had 8.5 sacks, 6 sacks the year prior, 9 before that. Lots of tackles and tackles for loss. Carlos Dunlap's a solid player. If you had to pick one defensive lineman to go with, would you rather have Ndamukong Suh or would you rather have Carlos Dunlap? Which guy would you like to bring back to Pacific Northwest? Suh or Carlos? Type Suh for Ndamukong Suh. Type Carlos for Carlos Dunlap. Which one would you go with? Let us know in the comments section. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for last-minute tickets for the lowest prices, guaranteed. Game Time is very easy to use. It's user-friendly. And I got to tell you, recently I used Game Time. I ignored those sketchy scalpers that were trying to scam me, and I downloaded Game Time. And you can too. When you're going to a Seahawks game, find the game you want to go to. It's got the prices listed. Pick out the seat you want. See what the seat looks like. Get that view. And then within a matter of moments, you're checking out with either Apple Pay or Venmo, whatever you're feeling. Maybe you want to use Google Pay. It's very simple and easy to use. And here's what we're offering Seahawks Today viewers. If you go download Game Time, create an account, we're going to give you $20 off and use the promo code SeahawksChat. Download today, create an account, use that promo code, and I got to tell you, you won't be disappointed. Game Time, $20 off, promo code SeahawksChat. Terms and conditions do apply. Check out Game Time today. Speaking of reunions, what about Gabe Jackson potentially making a return to the Seattle Seahawks at the offensive guard spot? Phil Haynes is supposed to be back this week. But if things don't necessarily work out, or if there's another injury that comes up, whatever it may be, a reunion with Jackson isn't a bad option if the Seahawks need to find something potentially. Jackson previously played with the Seahawks and the Raiders, was released back on March 10th. Plenty of experience, 131 career games played, 130 starts over the years. Last year, he didn't play his best in Seattle. His overall grade was a 55, run block grade 51.5, pass block grade 53.8, but he only allowed 2 sacks. So you could argue that the PFF scores may not tell the whole story of Gabe Jackson's potential production, and already knowing the scheme could help him to his advantage there. What about Melvin Ingram? You want to look for another pass rusher? Here's the deal. The bottom line is this. Melvin Ingram, this is somebody that I look at, you can never have too many pass rushers. That's something we've talked about a lot the last couple of weeks. And Ingram, kind of like what we said with Carlos Dunlap, has been successful with multiple teams in multiple schemes. We've seen him play at a high level over the years. And think about this. This scenario of bringing Melvin Ingram in mid-season, he's done this before. He joined a Chiefs team halfway through the year. He's learned new schemes on the fly, like with the Dolphins and Chargers, and he's turned it into 3 Pro Bowls. And we talked constantly about consistency here. 3-time Pro Bowler with 6 career seasons with 6 sacks or more. Melvin Ingram's been able to bring that to the table. Got more names to get to in just a second, but first, want to hear from you guys, and I want you to chime in that comment section and tell me this. Who's a free agent the Seahawks should sign? We've given you a few. Now it's your chance to be the GM here on Seahawks Today. Weigh in, drop me a name or two you'd like to see sign with the Seattle Seahawks. Next on our list is Desmond King. Desmond King, I'll say this. No offense to Artie Burns, who's been with Seattle off and on now, for the last couple of seasons. But the Seahawks can do better than a guy like Artie Burns. King, I think, is an example of that, of could be an upgrade of some sorts. Previously played with the Chargers, the Titans, the Texans, and the Steelers. Wasn't too long ago, this guy was playing at an all-pro level, a first-team all-pro in 2018, and was recently released by the Steelers. He's still looking for somewhere to call home. You have to imagine somebody's going to be calling his name soon. Last year, he had a really good year. He had 2 interceptions, 10 tackles for loss, so he's effective as a blitzer as well. The year prior to that, he had 3 interceptions. It was a weird situation for the Steelers there. I think somebody's going to find Desmond King, and if the Seahawks don't get him, somebody else will, essentially. More names to get to in a second, but first, if the Seahawks do make a move, you know we're going to talk about here on the channel. We went live right after the Seahawks signed Frank Clark. We went live after the Leonard Williams trade, and you better believe one of these names right here, if they join the Seahawks, we'll throw a big palooza. We'll go crazy. You won't want to miss it. For the latest happenings in your Seattle Seahawks, subscribe now for free for daily news and rumors, live shows, mailbags, watch parties, and more. Doesn't cost you a thing. Subscribe now for free. You'll be glad you did. A few more names to get to, a little rapid fire here. Probably the best safety on the market right now, Landon Collins. He's had a good career, a lot of good experience over the years. Eric Fisher at the offensive tackle spot. Didn't see him play at all last year, but he has won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. There's been some questions about his knees holding up, but he does have experience playing left and right tackle. Another guy we've talked about in this channel, not something that would be a big need anymore now that you've brought in Leonard Williams, but Matt Ioannidis, how is he still available right now? I thought he would be signed somewhere. And then Bryce Callahan at the corner spot. Bryce Callahan was solid last year, and he still remains available at this point in time. So there you have it. That's our list of available free agents for the Seattle Seahawks. If you made it to the end of today's video, we thank you. We appreciate you. You guys are the absolute best. Type real one in the comments section if you made it to the end of today's show, and we'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.